What's good, agents? Welcome to the 17th episode of the Sideboard podcast. It has been a minute since we've had a chance to record. Life has just been keeping everybody busy, but the card game stuff doesn't stop. There's plenty of stuff for us to cover today. But before that, I gotta ask, how are you guys doing?
Hearing you say 17 is wild, dude. In fact, we've been almost 2 years doing this. Actually, probably with the gaps and stuff. That's crazy. But I'm good, man. It's good to be back. Good to have y'all back. So excited.
Yeah, we have an interesting track record so far, I would say. But
yeah,
we've been
do.
pretty fairly consistent, I will say, overall. I'm feeling good. Busy as per always. I feel like stuff's always going down, but it's nice to have our monthly roundup for TCG, the goings on.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, I think our track record has been pretty good. It's just usually like holidays last year kind of screwed us, but that's the holidays. That's what they do. That's not your time. That is family time. Your time is gone. So, but yeah, we're back to our monthly cadence, and I think going forward too, we'll just have so much more shit to talk about because more games. More games are coming out, meaning less money in everybody's wallet, but more time. But before that, Frolly, I want to highlight you for a second, since you are our Digimon extraordinaire, with your latest regional performance. I can't remember what date it was, but you'll tell everybody which regional that was. But you had placed 47th out of 387. How was that event? It's been a minute since we have been able to do some Digimon stuff collectively. How was that?
Crazy, honestly. I think that's the best overall performance I've had at an event of that size. Maybe like a couple smaller things. Yet again, Cartamagica being the only ones in Canada keeping card games alive. So thank you so much for my somewhat local to be hosting these events, because we had Dragon Ball tournaments, we had Dragon Ball Fusion, and we had Digimon all in the same room.
Wow. And
not behind a paywall, no con, no nothing. Show up to the event center in Niagara. That was the May 17th regional. So I went in with a bunch of my friends. We traveled up, I think like 8 of us strong. We were all going. It was a long day, 8 rounds. So had a great time. I got to meet, I should have brought it for the thing. I think I left it in my car, but we 3D printed a deck box for me forever ago for double sleeves. And I actually ran into the creator in between round 3. Where the guy like came up and he's like, "Oh, how did you get that?" And like my friend printed it or whatever. He's like, "No, I made that file though." So shout out to Finns. Thank you so much. It was cool to see you. Sorry if it was an awkward interaction. I was like in the middle of finishing rounds, so like I was still trying to figure it out. I'll hit everybody with a super quick list of like rounds. So round 1 adventure, lost to a dude who was supposed to be there for the Dragon Ball event. That's embarrassing. Dragon 2 adventure, I figured out what the hell it was doing. So I picked up that W. I should mention I was playing Purple Hybrid, pretty standard list. Very competitive, very broken. Very much enjoyed playing it, but I'm also glad to be back to like non-meta stuff. Round 3, Grace Nova engine with like value top end. Managed to take that. Managed to win the mirror round 4 against another Purple Hybrid, but that was a coin flip. Round 5, lost to Royal Knights. Only thing I learned for that match is round 1. I had enough colors to mill him out and literally was tutoring for a card, so dropping that match sucked because then I just lost the rest of it. We had Red Purple Hybrid, round 6, picked that up. Round 7, Galactic, picked that up. Round 8, Shine Greymon. Probably my hardest fought round of it, and I'll just share the only anecdote was win round 1 pretty handily. Round 2, run out of gas, get O-code, that's Shine Greymon. Round 3, have to decide going first or second. Say I don't really want to go first, but understand that I probably have to. Go first. No rookies. Mulligan. No rookies. Top deck into purple memory boost. 3 Ukos and so that was heartbreaking to end the day on a day with no bricks almost all day. Very consistent deck the entire day, and like that's how it ends. But that's card games. I could have picked up earlier round. But yeah, I was just hyped to play an event in Canada. It was nice to play in person again. It was nice to be in a room full of that many people actively playing a game. Digimon came out and represented huge. I think we were double, if not double in a bit, the numbers for Dragon Ball. So like, I pray that they keep this going. But thank you for letting me indulge. Yeah, 47th, probably my largest event. Let's hope for top 32 next time.
That's sick, dude. Well, congrats. I'm happy that you're keeping the Digimon hype alive for both Dan and I. What's funny about that is Dan and I were just talking yesterday, if not the day before, about EX9, and both of us like, oh, these cards look so cool, and then actually reading the effects and being like, but you know, how mentally ready are we to kind of jump back in for real? Because the game seems so different, and that's not even like in a shady way. It just feels so different. It almost feels daunting. It almost feels like when I try to get people into Dragon Ball Masters, where it's just like, I'm sorry, this game is confusing and there's a lot of shit happening and there's a lot of cards that do a lot of things. It may not be the place to start. Playing in those events, like, do you kind of feel that, having played it from basically from the beginning to now, like, do you kind of feel that either pressure or that change, like when you're playing in these bigger events, or does it still feel the same, if that makes sense?
I would probably compare this more to, like, I feel like any card game that you stick into with the longest, you have the longest running game knowledge on. And even though Digimon wants to switch formats and change how we build and change how we play, there is still a lot of early elements from early Digimon that I feel like I find myself doing, like actively learning to raise, knowing when to Digivolve and what to Digivolve onto. Like, very basic core concepts still seem to be like what picks me up quick wins or like better wins against people who are not as familiar. But I mean, it's like any game, once you're out of the ecosystem, as the game continues to evolve, if you're not picking this up piecemeal set by set, things look really daunting when you get back in. You're like, okay, there's 12 new keywords, and you're like, hey man, like, it doesn't matter, only 4 of them matter. It's like, that's not the point. The point is I'm gonna have to deal with this stuff at some point. So I would say, like, those events, I still find myself like having to brush up. I wish I would have labbed a little bit more, but I'm still fairly happy with the result of, like, clearly I practiced enough. And the simulator, or like the hopefully the live client we're gonna get later on, like, that allowed me to lab so much more than I think I would have had I just had to, like, rely on friends or playing in person.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. We've talked about, or at least I've talked about, a lot of, like, especially with the EX9 stuff, which I think we can jump straight into, unless Dan, there's anything you wanted to add. I don't want to, like, just dominate the conversation, but
No, you're good. I first off, I'll just echo what you said. Kudos to you, Frawley. I mean, I've, an event of that size, obviously, just walking into the room is, like, daunting in and of itself, and then you going in with, like, all these, hopes and expectations and all that, and to walk out with that kind of place, and it's pretty awesome, dude. So congrats on that, first and foremost. But yeah, man, I think for me, like, just to kind of tack on a little bit about, like, being out of the ecosystem, obviously I don't think I've played a game of Digimon, like, realistically in over a year. So yeah, trying to get back into it, for me, it's not a, like Agent said, it's not like a shady or, like, kind of like a negative connotation. It's just more of, like, the game just kind of evolved past me. So, and, like, I kind of just shifted into something else. But yeah, I think ultimately you just got to kind of have that mentality of, like, what are you trying to get out of the game? So, like, in Frawley's position, he went in with that mentality of, like, I want to be competitive. I want to play this regional. I enjoy this game, wholeheartedly. So, like, I'm going to stick in it. Whereas, like, someone like me who's like, I do enjoy the game. I like Digimon as an IP and all that, but it's like, I'm not so invested. So it's easier for me to just walk away and not feel like that type of attachment. But then, like Agent said, you get these EX9 arts and it's like, oh man, it's just kind of like almost grabs a hold of you again. So, but yeah, man, I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? The future, BT22 stuff's on the horizon. So I don't know.
If it wasn't for my locals, I feel like I would not have stuck in with Digimon also as much as I have, right? Like, who you have to play with and what time and what you can give to playing is entirely determinative, I think, of what you... Like, I don't think I've played more Magic this year than I think in, like, the 4 years I kind of played back in the day. Where it's just like, this is what I have time for, this is what my friends are available for, and, like, being adults, it's harder to schedule stuff. So when we get a night where it's like, hey man, we got 3 hours, let's get 3 games in. Like, so when people are driven for that, it's easier to stick in with it. Now I will say I'm a little hesitant on EX9 because, like, obviously, so first off, like, Sasasi got some banging arts, doing what he always do. Thank you so much for that. I think this is the first clunker set for Digimon in a long while. Like puppet support is good. Puppets are back. It's got a Liberator trait, so it's getting nothing but support. and that means to get stuff layered down the line, and it mixes. The before deck was like an OTK deck, try to kill you. The new one's very defensive and very stopping my opponent. Being able to combine like sword and shield, I think is gonna be very strong for that deck. But like DM and Chimera, like I don't know what that deck is doing. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be like Adventure, where I'm like, oh, it's a starter deck, it's kind of garbage, and then it turns out to be top tier. Like I don't think anyone's seeing that. If you guys look at prices for this set, it is plummeting. The SPs are like 100 American a piece, and wow. I honestly think Digimon did this to themselves. Even though we're synced now with Japan, they started showing 22 real early, and 22 has fully eclipsed this set. People realize they only have to wait another month to get some banging crazy cards, and I feel like they were ahead of Bandai on this one, Bandai on this one.
Yeah, it was interesting. And I feel like that's specifically a Digimon problem. I don't think in any of the other games they do this weird reveals where you're revealing like 2 sets simultaneously. I don't know why you do that. That was very confusing because I kept seeing BT22 stuff and thought it was EX9 stuff. I was like, oh no, this is totally different. I'm surprised, but not, now that you say that, Frolly. Like, I thought looking at the EX9 stuff, like, I guess I wasn't really paying attention to the DM specifically cards. I was really looking at the support that can go into Alter S, specifically just the Crest, Blitz, Omni, and the new tie of like, yo, this combined with Zwart, which is gross, and the other old like Alter S deck, I was really thinking like, yo, I might just have to get right back to playing, just like when they did with the Examon stuff, and I went to like locals for like a month. Because y'all know Alter S is something I enjoy way too much, and win, I feel like, way too often with the deck that should not win as much as I feel like it does because it's so high rolly.
I mean, it's hard to say that this is the only game that Bandai has a problem. Like, I would love to see the Black Clover sales for Union. I would love to see, like, there's a couple master sets that have been, like, fine. Like, this is the only one that, like, the double release of what they were going for seems really weird. The Machinedramon stuff seems good. The Abadamon stuff seems kind of cool. Another bad guy. Hopefully he gets support in the Sinister set coming out where it's all bad guys, and hype for that. But yeah, like, I think Bandai just is juggling a lot right now. They have a new show coming out for Digimon, Breakbeat, I believe, if I'm saying that right. They have the Time Savers game coming out, and a set linked Time Savers. They've got, like, their Card Fest stuff starting up, so I just feel like they have so much on their plate that they were just like, we have to crunch this out. Like, we have so much stuff coming, we just have to keep pumping them. By the way, new Digivice coming out. By the way, new set. Pre-order the game.
Yeah, it feels like
I think that's
right now.
Yeah, and the thing is, I kind of feel like I combine and agree with both of y'all's points of, like, I think it is somewhat of a Digimon specific issue, but also just a general Bandai issue in the sense that, like, I feel like I try to stay optimistic and be like, they do it on purpose in the sense of, like, to kind of create these lulls, right? Because they're juggling all these games at one time, it's like they want to try to, you would think from a business aspect, try to maximize their, like Frolly was mentioning earlier, you know, these EX9 prices are plummeting, right? So regardless of cards being good, bad, whatever, it's like, it's easy to pick them up, right? That doesn't necessarily mean I know third party market doesn't mean anything to Bandai, but the point is that one of the reasons that they're plummeting is also because there's product available, right? Mm-hmm. So you have that, but then yes, you have those other things. Gundam is coming out in like a month, so that's going to be a big one. Union Arena sets are dropping literally once a month. There's actually a couple months where I think the 2 sets come out at a time. The new Anti-Box for Dragon Ball is coming. Like, there's so much other stuff. Like, we could go on about all the Bandai products, and it's like, as a card game enthusiast, it's great because you have all this new shiny stuff. But I do think sometimes it becomes like information overload, I think, a little bit. And for people who do, I don't even think it's just specific to people. I was gonna say people like that play multiple games. You could literally just play the one. That still feels like too much. I feel like the biggest issue, going back to Agent's point of like Digimon specifically, is more so on the reveal part. That was one of the issues that I had when playing the game like heavily was they just tended to release and like reveal things way too early, in the sense that like by the time the cards actually came out, the set was that set was already like played out. Like I felt like people were like proxying things and like whatever. It's like with Dragon Ball, again, no shade to Digimon, but like with Dragon Ball, it's like we're sitting here just kind of like, when do we get these reveals? And they'll literally like lead like a card a day up to, you know, the thing. So it's like we get a little bit, and it's like a little bit of taste, and then it's like Digimon's like, nope, here's the entire set 2 months ahead of time. People go ahead and, you know, proxy it out, and from a competitive standpoint, that's fine. But like, think about playing a set that like doesn't come out for damn near 2 months. By the time it comes out, you're like, all right, I've played everything. So what are you going to do then? So like I said, I think it's like this juggling aspect, like Frolly mentioned, that Bandai just has a lot of plates in the air. And I don't care how big of a corporation or whoever you are, you can't do it all. So there's going to be times that there's lapses and things. So anyways, that's my rant. But I feel like it's, yeah, you just take the good with the bad, I guess.
But no, I feel like with the Bandai stuff or Digimon, there's just so much shit happening at once at any given time for Digimon right now, which is good, I think, for the IP, because you have, like you said, Frolly, there's the Digivice, which I actually can't wait for, just because it's Godzilla given, and we can talk about Godzilla a little bit later. Sadness in my soul, but it's fine. But yeah, no, I'm really excited to kind of see where everything goes with Digimon. Now that things are synced, and I don't know, maybe this next set, BT22, will make me do something I will regret with my money, but we'll see. Ultra S.
If you're a Cyber guy, like, you're eating so good the next 3 to 4 sets.
Yeah, and Cyber Sleuth was the shit. I'd love to meet some Cyber Sleuth, so we'll see what happens. But maybe I'll just continue to live vicariously through you. That might be the smartest thing to do.
All I'm going to say is this couple things that I saw some new Diaboromon and a new Errata. So, that's all, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of...
I can't believe Errata's pulling double duty. They literally were like, hey, you're part of Eaters and you're part of Diaboro, and we're going to make some of it overlap.
No, you know what? They finally did it 20 some odd sets into the game, is they made Errata a memory tamer. Because you know, like... So, but again, that kind of goes back to the point that, like, this is why the game is going to remain playable, is because stuff like that, old archetypes. I was BT5 Diaboromon main, and here we are, EX9, you know, Sunrise of BT22, still getting this stuff. And like Frolly just mentioned, it's integrated with other archetypes. So, like, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, a lot of plates, but it'll be interesting to see what the next 3 or 4 sets is. I might be joining age, and I might be, you know, the wallet might be calling. You know, it's nostalgia, dude. I can't let it go completely.
It's nice to see that product's actually still available. Like, I know that's like such a weird thing to say, but like, I have to specify that, like, hey, you have the ability to buy this stuff right now. Because like, if you look at Final Fantasy and everything else, like, that stuff went so quickly that it was just like, okay, it's here and gone. Like, it's, even though it's a bit of a clunker, like, I wonder if this is gonna be one of those boxes, like those side boxes that goes up randomly later. I remember EX4 with Agent mentioning like Ultra S, when that got like even like the Omni Warp support was like, oh my god, like Ultra B's up through the roof, like stuff just climbs. So though I am still hunting for like 3 things out of the set, and I'm not super excited to play anything besides Machine Germon, because I like Machine Germon and he's always annoying. It's great to have another one of him. I do wonder if this will be one of those boxes that appreciates. And I'm also not scared of a clunker set, just because, like, we've been batting pretty well for a while. I would say, like, EX1 is, I think, the last time I felt like clunker. And even then, that got me the, like, original Machine Germon deck, which was still pretty good. The rest of it felt kind of clunky, not really useful. So, like, you know, to drop a ball, I'm not, like, super worried, especially because, like you guys were mentioning, there's so much fire lined up that it's like, it doesn't even matter. I'm seeing reveals for both the game, like randomly, like new Digimon from the game and TCG at the same time, which is crazy to me, where I'm just like, oh yeah, Skull Seedramon looks sweet, and we have a Sharkmon finally. And it's just like, oh yeah, new Atmon stuff for the TCG. It's still the game I'm enjoying the most, so it's one of those things where it's like, it's kind of easy just to stay up to date, but it is also one of those things where, like, can't find myself jamming too much of it unless I have something to look forward to. Or like some of the new stores are getting relegation events where they do certain stuff. So the next relegation event coming up is the new archetypes So Deep Savers, the Wind Digimon, the DM Digimon. You're gonna have a deck of 30 cards. Of those traits, sharing that trait, and the rest can be whatever. And that's been kind of fun because I'm kind of tinkering with Nightmare Soldiers, which I wouldn't normally do because it's not very good.
That's pretty dope. It's pretty dope. Yeah, man. I'm excited. I think there's, again, I feel like we always say, there's a lot to be excited about in like the card game space. And I love that like some of these newer games that are kind of like spinning up, like UA and whatnot, which we can get into here in a second, are really taking on a life of their own and not just being like product that you kind of just play on the side, you know what I mean, and hope that it becomes a thing. Because UA is now having like their like official like regionals and like major events. The pricing is insane looking. It's also really cool because it's like simple stuff. It's like action point counters and things that aren't like necessarily needed for gameplay. It's just things that look really freaking cool and will probably sell really nice. But also, we just had, as in, I actually have the list here, a couple of days ago, June 27th, Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 2 just dropped. I know Dan picked up a bunch of stuff from that, so happy for you on that. We're trying to keep Dan in these games as long as possible as well.
Well, for this one specifically, I mean, it's funny because like I've never been a big anime person, and in the, I don't know, when did this game come out? In the 4, 5, 6 months that this game has been out, I've now finished three animes, and I'm on my 4th. So like on top of like that, now I'm like really getting into it. So now it's like create a deeper connection with the game. So now like on top of that, I'm like, yeah, JJK said, like, literally, bro, like, I'm not kidding, midnight of set release, I was already like, okay, got my list ready. I'm like going. I basically ordered damn near everything out of the set. Like, yeah, it was pretty hype. But that, what I was gonna say, and it's kind of a good segue, is this is why I echo this. Union Arena is such a good game to get into if you're someone like me that's like, you want to play like fairly at a competitive level, but can't really invest too much into it to like keep up set to set, right? Because they're all separate IPs. So it's like the last like month or two, I wasn't really paying too much mind to like the new, like Black Clover, look cool set, but I'm not a Black Clover fan, so didn't really. But then JJK, here it comes, Volume 2. I was like, boom, getting into it. Attack on Titan comes out next month. Like I'm ready for that. So yeah, and then you pair that with all the events and stuff that are coming up. It's like, yeah, dude, there's a lot to look forward to with Union Arena, I feel like.
Yeah, I think, Full Metal Alchemist is looking cool. Attack on Titan after that. Code Geass Volume 2. A bunch of different card sleeves. Rurouni Kenshin, which is cool throwback. But then we got Hunter x Hunter Volume 2, September. I'm just going through the list for the rest of the year, y'all. Kaiju number 8 in October, and Yu Yu Hakusho. I cannot wait for Yu Yu Hakusho. I think Yu Yu Hakusho is going to be like it's going to be a case buy for me. I basically want to build everything in that. It looks so good. It's so fun. And then we got Nikkei in November. That one's probably going to sell. Not for me, but that one's definitely going to sell. I think people are going to lose their minds for that. And then we get into Demon Slayer in December. I mean, they basically have all the sets all the way out to January, which is ending in Evangelion, which that one I think is going to be a banger set. And then after that, we got Solo Leveling, which I think is going to be another banger set. So they're doing a really good job, I think, of introducing like some pretty cool series. But to your point, like as we talked about a little bit offline, Frawley, I'm curious to see what's going to fall into that category of Japan only, which makes sense because of like rights and stuff, and how that factors into like world championships. Will it be kind of like, if it's Japan exclusive, like you can't play it? Like I wonder how they'll kind of factor that.
There's multiple ways they could like end up doing that, or like if they just do like an NA, EU, and like an Asia world, and or like combine us and Europe if we both fall under the same stuff. Bandai's been pretty good about doing exclusives, but then like eventually giving them to other people. Chinese Terriermon comes to mind, or like now currently we have like the Digimon cards that actually have Godzilla in them, and that's like Japan exclusive or China exclusive, if I remember correctly. I'm still waiting for one Union Arena set that I'm like, that's the anime I'm in. I haven't hit that yet. Like Code Geass, I thought about it, and then I didn't pull the trigger. Was busy with other stuff. I think Freerin or like Dungeon Messi though like gets like honestly I don't know why, but either of those I'd be in. Artwork would be dope. It's cool to see Union Arena kind of become its own card game. Now I will say, like, I don't know if it would be getting this much love if it wasn't like also at all these events that other things are at. And I'm not trying to talk bad about the game. I just like, I don't really see too much besides, like, I see a lot more collectors, I think, in this than I'm seeing in other card games recently. Like, One Piece had like a fairly large collector scene for a while with the manga rares and stuff like that. Now I feel like Union Arena is becoming a thing, and I thought it was gonna be more like Weiss Schwartz. It seems like Union Arena really does want to release support for your deck eventually. So even though it's not like a set by set basis where you got to keep up with stuff, it's nice to see like Hunter x Hunter was like last year at this point, a little bit, and like now we're getting Volume 2. So like it seems like a healthy amount of time is going by, and I'm sure they're also introducing brand new decks, brand new archetypes with this, and they're not just straight doing support for like I'm sure God and Killa will get stuff, but you know.
Yeah, that's been the really cool thing is like you get a couple new decks plus support. But actually, it looks like, at least for Bleach, on the Bleach side, we got mostly new decks and then minimal support for old decks, which is really cool. And then you can kind of mix and match as you want, right? But and I think with each volume, you're gonna get a new color for that series, and then like the old colors and like all new shit. So that's really cool. And what's interesting is, I feel like with UA, to your point, like I think it really benefits from being everywhere, but also they just keep picking banger animes. Like they're not picking these series that are like, I don't know what that even know what that is, right? Like they have either a cult following, they've been around for a while, or they're having like some kind of modern day resurgence, which is really interesting in the ways that they're picking them. I'm curious if there's ever a universe, probably not, but I mean they have the rights, so they could, where they do some weird guest feature thing where there's like a Digimon set, a One Piece set, a Dragon Ball set, that sort of stuff, to where like they exist within UA as like a demi set. I know that Battle Spirits did that in Japan. There was like a Digimon set. This was years ago, before I think the Digimon card game was a thing. Battle Spirits had its own like Digimon unique set. So that could be really cool if they ever did that with UA.
I will say, just to tack on to that, like when you say banger anime, I agree with you, like on their selection being really nice. And we talked about these things, like I don't know if you look at like stuff like Weiss Schwartz, but like My Five Girlfriends or whatever, like quintessential quintuplets or whatever got a set. And not to bash on those animes, I'm just saying that like they seem to like know their audience of like, we can do action anime, but we can do some romance anime. That's gonna make us some money. And Nikkei kind of seems like the toe dip in for Bandai, where they're like, oh, what if we do Nikkei? And like, I don't know if you guys have seen the playmats, but like I was looking at it because I could see all the pre-orders for playmats and everything. And I believe HoloLive, I don't know if HoloLive is confirmed for doing something with Bandai, or if it's like the Oshi push stuff like we talked about, I think the last episode or the episode before. But like, yeah, I can see Bandai dipping their toe into other stuff though, if Nikkei sells like really well, that, you know, you're gonna start to get less shonen stuff and like a little bit of them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, just looking at the sets that are released over in Japan, again, going back to like, not sure, you know, Japanese exclusive releases and things like that. Like, you know, there's a whole list of things that aren't specifically like, they kind of expand outside of just that shonen type of kind of element. But yeah, to kind of add on to what Adrian was saying, it's like, that's the one thing, the cool thing, like for me specifically with JJK, is like we got support for 2 decks, got a new color and 2 new decks. So it's like, it seems, it's weird. It's like it's in this weird spot of like having so much but not feeling overwhelming. Like it feels easy to absorb, but it could also be because it's like singular IP based, right? Where it's like, I'm not focused on, like, I acknowledge how good of a Bleach set is. You know, Age and I play a lot of games, and Bleach is a very good set. I don't have any connection to Bleach, so I'm not interested in trying to pick it up and learn it myself. So like I could focus like on stuff like that. So yeah, but yeah, I think I know that I'm probably the minority of like not being a huge anime fan. I don't know why I'm so far behind the 8 ball on that, but playing this game has really like exposed me to it, and now I understand why. And yeah, now realizing like, wow, like these shows are actually really crazy, because like not just like, oh, it's like cool action or whatever, it's like storytelling and like the character development. It's like, bro, like for someone who loves movies and TV shows and things like that, it's like, why haven't I been trying to explore some of this stuff? It's like, so when you have like a foundation that is so like strongly rooted. It's I feel like very easy to translate that into card games and different mechanics and stuff. And then to Agent's point, it's like I can't imagine them not at least trying to take advantage of some of the other, like, even though they already have their own games, like advantage of some of those IPs and just mix them in. And they don't have to be like it doesn't have to be like a multiversal thing where it's like, we have this Greymon in UA and he's like an alternate version of a Greymon that's in the Digimon. You can keep them separate. Like they don't have to even be like, it could be a totally different mechanic, totally different gameplay, whatever. But the fact that you've got now both, and that's where, touch on a little bit a couple episodes back, we've always talked about it a few times. It's like the player retention and crossover type of thing. That's where it comes in. So I think it's just smart on their part to try to do that.
It seems like the Fortnite-ification of what a lot of other games are doing.
Yep.
And instead of being like all these games are mixing together and now I'm getting muddied on what I had because there's all these other IPs in it. Like you're saying, keeping the IP separate means I get in because I like Demon Slayer and I play against your deck that I've never seen One Punch Man, but you hit me for one punch. I'm like, that's weird. Like, how does they do that? And you start telling me about the anime or whatever. Like, I see it opening doors or conversation, right? Like, it's smarter to get people in on what they like or what they think they like, and then they get exposed to the rest of it through the osmosis of like, oh, I like this thing. I can identify with this. Let me slip into this game. I feel like Lorcana, and I'm worried that like League of Legends card game is gonna be a lot like that. We keep talking about Gundam, but I'm like, man, no one's talking about Riftbound. Like that's coming, and it's got some Rito money behind it, so it's gonna do some work.
Yeah, I think the other thing Union Arena benefits from though is more so than almost any other card game, aside from, no, I would say in general, is that Union Arena could set up tables at any anime convention across the world and fit right in, because you're just like, cool. Like all this stuff is represented. Some of the actors, not intentionally, are probably here from some of these IP. Like you can get cards signed from there's just so much more interconnectivity. Not saying that obviously One Piece can't be at a con or whatever, but like you can hit up way more people just by nature of, we have 20 different series. You're gonna like one of these. If you're at this convention, you're gonna like one of these. And I think the more they can hit some of these legacy shows like Yu Yu Hakusho, Rurouni Kenshin, we're not gonna get into the stuff with the creator, but Rurouni Kenshin and Yu Yu Hakushow, some of this older nostalgia bait stuff, I think would serve them really well, and even just like the way they can market some of this stuff, which is sick. I think that's a really big benefit for them.
It's no longer my favorite anime, but like to add to my list, I think Inuyasha is like old school enough that like I go in. Oh no, you got me.
Yeah, no, it's dope. It's fun to see like this game in particular grow, because like I remember when it first came out. I'm not gonna say that I felt like people weren't really paying attention to it, because I think of the three IP they chose to start with. Hell, I remember when it first came out, everybody was like, "Oh, this will never come to the States or outside of Japan," and it very quickly did.
I like your idea about energy markers and stuff too. Like Gundam's been doing that for their events. Of like they just have resource cards, and it's like energy, action point, Z energy, whatever you want to call them. Like having a little thing to bling out my deck is always something I'm gonna do. This like feels like one of the only things Digimon did drop the ball on, because like memory gauges were cool, and then it was like, nah, man, it's just on mats. It just makes more sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all the different.
No, that's one thing.
Good.
Yeah, no, that's one thing for me. That's like because it's, and again, like with energy markers, whether you're playing Fusion World or Masters, you only need one. I mean, you could get a couple, but like you only need one. So like the investment in it to say I'm going to spend a good chunk of change on like this one, my favorite character, or this one exclusive or whatever, doesn't feel so bad, because A, it's only one, and number two, you can use it for any deck that you play, right? Same thing with Union Arena with the action points, right? Now, granted, if you want to get, there are IP specific, but at the same time, if you just like a certain IP, like let's say like Agent's case, Bleach is his favorite, but he plays other decks, he can still use his Bleach action points for those other decks, just to be like, hey, Bleach is my favorite, but I'm playing this deck today, kind of thing. And then yeah, of course, with Gundam coming out with the resource cards, I looked at a couple of those. I don't know if we want to segue now, but I actually signed up. I don't know if I'm going to get in, because it's like, as everything is like a lottery system and all that, but I've already signed up for 3 different Gundam release events, just in the hopes of trying to get some of the, the release things and like the resource promos and whatever, because again, stuff like that, it's like, regardless of resale value or whatever, it's like those kind of things are like what draws players in to be like, cool, this customizes my deck in a way of like, you know, my own, I kind of put my own spin on it, you know? So yeah, I will agree with you there. Probably, I remember when I first got into Digimon, like I had like you had like the Digimon, the memory markers, right, that came with the starter decks, right, the little paper ones, but then you go play against players that had like the fancy metal ones, and then like the custom, you know, markers that like moved and all this other stuff, and then you just go out and get a mat that already has it pre-printed. I'm like, yeah, whatever, you know. So yeah.
No, I feel you. And it's so funny. So Gundam for me, like, okay, so I'd still say like I think the hype around Gundam is still like around like an 8 out of 10. I feel like this one has been like making waves. I feel like this has been like larger news. It's fallen off a little recently, I think, with other stuff around it. Just like we haven't had any from Gundam. All we've had confirmed is that set 2 is coming. We have like a date for set 2. But I will say, like, I think this is one game where, like, though I'm not hyper into it, this might be the series where I watch a bunch of my friends play it, and then I pick up a deck off them because they have extras and stuff. Where, like, I don't really have a loyalty to anything Gundam except for, like, Iron-Blooded Orphans is, like, the one that I remember. Like, I think I watched Wing when I was a kid, but I don't remember too much. So, I think it'll be one of those things where, like, it'll either be the deck has to interest me, which would be kind of nice to get into something where, like, I don't have to love the IP, I just like how this deck plays, and if that's the case, then hopefully I can go from there. But yeah, no, these lottery events, like getting in and getting even a single foil resource, like makes your entire trip worth it for Gundam. So like the hype train is insane for this. I don't know when the bubble's gonna burst for Bandai, because I don't know how many games we have, but like, man, like, we say it every month, and yet they still continue to have the most games out of any company, so still working.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm gonna have a oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go.
No, I was just gonna say, I think I'm gonna have a similar experience to Gundam as I did with UA, in the sense that like I again wasn't big into like any of the animes, but I enjoyed how the game played, and the artwork. It's Bandai, but artwork is just phenomenal. Looking at the Gundam stuff, the artwork is, there's no question. I mean, the artwork is just beautiful. And already looking at just tutorial gameplay and like just kind of, you know, the early stages of stuff looks really fun. I did watch Wing when I was a kid. You know, I don't remember much of it, but I wasn't a huge Gundam fan. I always liked, you know, it's robots and like, you know, things like that. So like I enjoyed the genre of it, but I was never a huge fan. But I'm like, I've always said that like, there's 3 elements of a game that I have to check off at least 2. It's artwork, connection with the series, and or gameplay. If I can have 2 of those, I can get into it. So anyways, I think that's going to be the big thing with Gundam is that people will have that, like, artwork is indisputable, and because it's one of the biggest IPs I think in the world, in terms of, you know, animes and all those other things, it's just it's a no-brainer. And I think back to Asian's point, it's like any Comic-Con, for the most part, any big ones usually has some sort of Gundam, I wouldn't say booth, but like, you know, yeah, something, right?
Gunpla. So
it's just going to be present. So like, you have a Gundam type of presentation there. Now you can incorporate the TCG like aspect of it. It's just, yeah, it's just crossover, you know. So I think it's going to do really well.
Oh yeah, well, also the fact that they have the little Gunpla that you can use in game that you can paint. I'm like, what? Like they're like, yo, we're gonna get everybody. We're gonna get everybody. What's crazy is they already announced they already have regional set up for this. The game's not even out, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna do a regional at the Dallas event, and like shit instantly is getting sold out. It reminds me of One Piece, man, of like how like you're not finding events, dog. Like you will find events, folks. I don't think you will not find stuff. It's just that like, depending on your area, if you're like in a large metro area, it might be hard to get into stuff because there's a lot of people interested. I'm just hoping that Bandai can keep up with the product, because I think just the desire for this game is going to be really strong. But it seems like they know that, and they're taking it very seriously, in the sense that like for no other game that I can think of, aside from when UA launched, they did this a little bit, where they are asking you, are you joining because you want to be competitive? Are you joining, like, what are you looking to buy? Like, they're building surveys into everything. And then on the Premium Bandai site, they actually did lotteries where you could buy product at MSRP, which they have not done it for any of their games, where they had, oh, you want to buy a booster box? Here you go. So yeah, I really think that this is a game that they're gonna put a lot of time and focus into. And having played it a few times, it's so much fun. And the fact that it also starts off and has a built-in 2v2 mode is exciting. I cannot wait to try that as well. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be excited about for Gundam. And what's even crazier to me, they haven't released any of what the set looks like. Like, we don't know what any of the cards in the set look like, which is mind-blowing to me. But I really like that. Like, I actually don't, yeah, like, please don't reveal it. Like, let me open cards for the first time and be like shocked at what I pull out, what comes out of the set.
I'm only smirking because I'm so glad that you brought that up as a callback to a previous point, that you can keep the hype for a game without having to reveal the whole damn set. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's obviously possible. It's like, bro, like, you realize I feel like that's where the player engagement comes in, because people are like, oh, I want to see, like, you know, what's coming, and like, what's this, you know, first set gonna be like. Okay, we got the first set, we're gonna play it for a couple months, and then now we know the second set's coming, and so on and so forth. So it's like, yeah, man, I think it's weird. I think Gundam is gonna have kind of a reverse, and I don't mean, I'm gonna preface this by saying I don't think it's gonna fall off. I think Gundam's gonna have kind of a reverse path of what UA did, where like UA started off really slow and just kind of under the radar, and now it's picked up. Whereas Gundam, I think, Agent, to your point, I agree, is it's going to be, I think it's going to be fairly difficult to try to get into some of these bigger events and, you know, all these kind of things, and try to get product early on, probably for a little while. And then it'll start leveling out like most card games do. It's not just going to stay forever at a point where, you know, barrier to entry is super high. But I think because of the hype, it's just, that's what's going to carry the game into basically being a mainstay on Bandai's repertoire of, you know, card games. So that's my prediction. I'm just gonna say I think that's where they're gonna go with it. But I think their track record so far, I mean, regardless of what they, I mean, shoot, people have been saying for how long now that Masters is dying, and now we're introducing, you know, a new block, new mechanics, new color. It's like, bro, like, I don't see them really, I mean, knock on wood, I don't see them offing any games anytime soon. So I think they just need to do a decent job of trying to balance them all. But doing these catch-all events at like Cardfest and stuff I think is a perfect way to do it. Because like, for all these points, it's like you just show up for one of it, like one thing. It can be a little overwhelming to try to pick and choose which one you want to do, but your options are damn near unlimited. You can just be like, I'm gonna do this, you know.
So it's funny that you mentioned predictions, because like I've already, my predictions, when we start getting chase rares, there's gonna be someone who has the card with their model behind it that they built. Guarantee those photos start getting taken.
Yep.
Calling it now. I just want that out there. And two is like, I agree with Dan, although I think the problem is that even though Bandai is ready for this and they've done the surveys, they've really, really carefully tried to launch this game, still think they underestimate how many people are gonna buy it. And I expect set 1 to be extremely, I expect set 1 and decks to be like Digimon. It's going to be hard to get. They are going to go quickly. And if people don't limit what people are allowed to buy, then it's going to go even quicker. But I agree with like set 2, set 3, I believe is where we start leveling out, where like there are people who are going to want to buy this box. They just want to hold it thinking it's going to be like set 1 Pokemon. Like that's unfortunately the nature of what we're in when something's brand new and hype. Games Workshop is starting to suffer from it, for like, you know, stuff is coming out and it's being bought out. And we've had this already in like the video game market for a long while now. So unfortunately, I think we can trend, but hopefully, I mean, the game is strong mechanics and it's got a fan base. So I'm just hoping, and people have learned to not say be patient, but people are expecting bullshit to be in their way. I don't know if that's the proper way of saying, but people are expecting there to be hurdles in their way. So I expect it to last, like, to launch kind of, not to say poorly, like, I expect it to sell out. But I think we start to level out around 2 to 3, and then hopefully that's that regionals and everything else where we can, like, start to continue on to, like, a smooth transition into product and support tournament. They do seem to have nothing but faith in this game. Seems like they really want to carefully launch this. They've taken the most time from anything else. They've been the most careful about it. You guys were saying about spoilers. It's funny, like I was fully agreeing with like, hey man, that's a great example. You don't have to build hype by like releasing something every day. And then I remember that it only takes 3 weeks to form a habit, and if I'm looking at spoilers every day, I'm gonna keep looking at spoilers every day. So like, I don't know. I think I'm torn on that. I think I'm of two minds. I think right now releasing something, not releasing anything, is building that little tease. And I think other games that are currently launching, like, they got to do the daily because I need you to engage. I need to see what this is still doing.
Yeah, I definitely think there's pros and cons. You know, I just think that of all of Bandai games, I don't want to say Digimon does it the worst, but Digimon it's the easiest to get lost and be like, what the hell is happening? Like, I don't even know. I'm confused. I don't know what's happening. I think the only way that I keep up with Digimon is not even through like the official like posts. It's from my bot in the Discord that's cloning the posts to be able to look at them like, okay, cool. Unlike with Dragon Ball, where I'm like, I'm just gonna go to the Facebook page and I can see everything, and it's pretty easy to keep up like from the official channel, whatever, as to what that is. But yeah. So speaking of,
y'all sound like dinosaurs.
I'll say, the best topic of the night. I've been waiting for this one.
All right, so speaking of new games, y'all know that Godzilla is my eternal goat. I have a statue up there. This mat that I have, that's table mat, that's like magnetized to my desk, is my goat. Godzilla's everywhere. So they announced the
right now too.
Yes, actually, I am. Yes, I am. That's my man's. So. If it's Godzilla, y'all know I spend money, even if I don't need to. So when I heard that they were announcing a Godzilla card game, I said, oh, yo, this is going to be sick. You can't fuck this up. Then I saw that Bushiroad was doing it. And I got immediately like, oh, God, I don't think this is going to be a good time. For context, Bushiroad did, Vanguard.
Vanguard is still going.
And weren't they involved with, I don't know if they're involved in something else, but Vanguard is like their biggest thing that everybody knows. So I was immediately like, oh Jesus. So I went to the website, and this game is supposed to come out basically July 3rd. There is no rules page yet, so you don't even know how to play the damn game. And they released the artwork, and let me tell y'all, it is some of the worst card game artwork I have seen in the modern era. They look like fake cards. Like, they look like they want to be these cards from the 90s, but not cool at all. I'm horrified and genuinely upset that Bandai didn't just scoop up the rights. You know, we don't want monopolies, but like, this is my rant for today. I'm genuinely hurt. Because I'm scrolling through the art they put up, like the other for the actual decks, and it's like some of the crustiest screenshots I've ever seen in my life. The layout for the cards don't make no sense. I don't even know what I'm supposed to take from this. So yeah, that's my rant. I needed to get it out and on the air and make it official. Bushiroad, if you're seeing this, I hope you get rid of the rights and give it to somebody else, because this is bad. The fact that we don't even have to know how to play the game and the game's supposed to come out in 3 days is wild.
You just make it up.
And the fact that this was supposed to celebrate the 70th anniversary of my GOAT, and y'all couldn't even do it right. Toho, what the fuck? Why would you? Anyway, that I'm gonna let y'all comment.
Nah, you tell us how
We
you
gotta
do it.
reel them back. This is crazy. I agree with you. These screen grabs look like real bad. Like movie poster and stuff. I get like, yeah, it grabbed me like the official art, but yeah, like the Godzilla 2023. I was like, is that from the movie? And I was like, oh no, that's straight up. It's straight up from the movie. Bryan Cranston could be in the background. And, like, it would be normal. I will say though, the only positive, you want to look at this as like one strictly positive. This means we'll get sleeves for them though. Bushiroad loves to pump out sleeves for what they have. So at least we go and get some sleeves. Hopefully that'll be nice. Embarrassingly, I had to look it up, but Bushiroad's other big game is White Schwartz. We've been talking about it today.
Oh,
and
there it is.
There's the other problem. Sorry. Well, the other thing is though, right. I can't even use the sleeves because they're gonna be Yu-Gi-Oh size sleeves. They're the Japanese size sleeves. So I was like, I can't even. Y'all ain't even good for that. So unless they make standard size sleeves,
they do both. They do both. It depends on their game. So it depends on what the size is.
But if it's Godzilla exclusive though, and because the Godzilla game is Japanese size cards, then yeah, they'll be Japanese.
I feel like
size.
it's
Just like Yu-Gi-Oh. Just like Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, Vanguard's small size too. Yeah, no, this is gonna be small size. You're right.
Yeah, there'd be small size sleeves. So you just whatever game you want, AJ, you could just like cut your cards out a little bit and put them in there. If they're good enough sleeves, I guess.
Thanks, man.
This just becomes binder chase for you.
Nope.
Yeah, that is true.
No. This game will no. I will not give it a dime. I say this, but maybe in like 10 sets they'll actually make the cards look good.
I was gonna say, I mean,
I was praying that one of two things would happen. Union Rita would have a Godzilla set. They did Gamera in Japan, or that like anybody else would make the game. Anybody else. But it's okay. Or maybe we'll get a Digimon collab and I can like actually get the cards from Japan. But I think I'm also more disappointed about the fact that like so you have this crappy artwork, but then you don't even like show me how to play the game. So I can't even make a decision about like, is this game even going to be worth playing? Am I going to take the time to go out to these events that allegedly you're having? I don't know. I'm just so disappointed. I was so excited when this news was announced. I was jumping around like a child, and then I saw what it looked like. Yeah.
It's hard to be.
I give you flack. I give you flack, but no, I totally, I genuinely do understand because if they ever, I've said this multiple times, but if they ever released or announced the Power Ranger game, right? That's my that's what I grew up with, all literally up until adult age. And it was like this, and this was like the announcement that I got, I'd feel the same way. It's one of those things where it's like, because you have so much source material to pull from, because Godzilla isn't like a one-off movie, right? Like it's a whole universe, right? So you have so much stuff to pull from, and this is what you do, right? So it's like, again, I don't have a super connection to Godzilla. I've watched a couple of the movies, I know about it, but it's like, even then, I know how bad this is. So yeah, to your point, card game player problems, right? Oh man, card game you can't really play, whatever. But it's still kind of frustrating when it's like this game could have been a banger. Who knows the what ifs? If, like you said, if it was a different collab or if it was a different distributor of the game, like who knows? But yeah, man, I've got the website up now, and I'm actually just kind of scrolling through some of this stuff, and I'm like, I mean, even the starter deck box art is kind of rough. So
yeah, and I don't know, maybe this is possible. I doubt it. I know Toho can be very strict around like how their brand is whatever is like presented and done. But like I'm like, yeah, but if you look at what Digimon was able to do with those collabs and like Monster Hunter, I'm like, no, I think y'all just lazy or something, because these don't even look like good screenshots. Like I don't understand. I don't understand.
Well, like what you gotta do? You gotta up-res the movie from the 90s. Like, I love Mothra, but she's a goddamn puppet. Like, I see the strings. Like, that's how that works. Like, maybe it's supposed to be bad on purpose. Maybe someone is all about the first movie. I was about to say. Maybe it's just bad on purpose.
I was gonna say, to play devil's advocate, because I'm trying to play the optimist, maybe we all know that first sets of just about anything is always rough, because you always pull from like the first movie or the first like season or whatever, and all that stuff's always like kind of premature. So holding out hope, maybe some of the later iterations, you can kind of turn around. And who knows? You don't know how the game's played yet. It could be a fun game.
So the only reason, my only rebuttal is if you go look at the -1 starter deck, -1 came out like 2 years ago. Why does it look like this? That's like the most modern Japanese Godzilla film that has come out. So you would think the -1 stuff would be looking real clean, and it ain't. I'm literally going in here right now. I'm gonna pull up the deck list for -1, and I'm just like, guys, this is not what you think this is. I don't know what's happening here. I also just think that the layout of the cards is ugly. I'm sorry. Just the layout of the cards is like, what is happening? Anyway,
okay, so For to stick on Dan's hope for optimistic, if you could have one deck of any monster for this game, what deck would you want? What monster do you want to have?
Godzilla excluded.
Ooh, Godzilla excluded. Well, there's different eras, you know. Each one is different. But if I have to exclude my one true goat, King Ghidorah probably. Is
Fair.
evil, rude ass of a monster. Between him and Destroya, they're not nice.
How'd you name my boys? How'd you name both of them? No one knows Destroya.
You know, the Oxygen Destroyer given life. Crustaceans merged together to terrorize humanity. You know, he's a punk for killing the goat, but it's fine. Or killing his child in front of him, but it's fine.
Actually, wait. I just want the one card where they take the Godzilla from Godzilla 2006, and Godzilla whips him into the theater.
Yeah,
and he nukes the hell out of him.
Yeah.
And then I just want a card that's the other guy going, "Oh, they killed Godzilla." It's like, that was not Godzilla. He was way too small.
Yeah. Oh god, that scene from Final Wars is so fun. He's just like, oh, that's cool. Just tail whip, atomic breath. He blows up. He's insta dead. I'm like, yes, that's what should have happened to that Godzilla.
I wish they would have just had a man with Matthew Broderick's look from behind. Just put him in there.
Yeah.
I will say one caveat to this whole thing. It does satisfy, you know. You got a Godzilla card on here with 38,000 power. 38,000. That's a big number.
That's a big number.
That's a big number.
It is a big number. You know, he could take on. He's almost as powerful as an SCR. You know, he's pretty strong in the Dragon Ball universe.
Pretty,
you know, and he's stronger than all the cards in UA. You know what I mean? Like, you put him in the UA decks and he's unstoppable. Saitama's 10K. You know,
he's taking that punch. No big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're gonna tack on this, I guess hopefully their resource cards are cool, and I can cap them for field centers in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, guys. So that's my biggest pain in the card game world is what they've done to my boy. You know, and yeah, I had to put that in there for this week because y'all know I was excited genuinely. And then this happened. But we get Gundam. We get Gundam instead in July. Gundam's gonna be sick. Can't wait to spend money on that. Can't wait to play. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. And hopefully, maybe even in Discord, we can figure out how to do 2v2s and be able to do that. That would be really cool. That'd be fun to be able to do. We'll have a travel team since we can legitimately play 2v2s and don't have to worry about people telling each other how to play mid game. That'd be great. So.
Had to open up. He had to
man,
open
still
up
salt, still salt there, eh?
Yeah, man.
2 years later, let's keep it pushing.
Yeah, man.
2 years old, man.
Yeah. I think about it occasionally. I'm like, damn, I can't believe that happened in real time. You know.
It was on stream too, which is wild. Like, they actually recorded it, so that's fun.
Yeah.
We gotta take that clip. I need that clip.
It exists. It exists. It created a lot of discussion in the Discord. There's a lot of discussion.
It did. Oh yeah, it did.
And folks trying to defend it. It was great. But nobody ever said anything to us about it directly, even though we're around. Anyway, I think we can conclude today's episode on a high. Again, a lot of stuff to be excited about. Gundam's coming out. A lot of cool shit for Digimon that's gonna maybe sucker Dan and I back into playing for like a set or two. You never know. Me probably more so before it will hit Dan. I think he has stronger willpower than me, or that willpower gets diverted into JJK Dragon Ball. So we'll see. But anyway, do you guys have any closing statements before we wrap up officially?
I need my monthly Dear Bandai. Please listen to me. Don't fuck up this app, please. Please don't fuck up this app. This is Digimon's best shot of being legitimized. It's your best shot. Please don't focus on Gundam. I always see with Bandai that meme of the woman with her pool, like holding her child in the pool, and there's the other kid drowning. It's always Digimon to me.
Yep.
I'm like, please pay attention to me, mother. Please. That's it though. I'll leave you guys for another month with more unhinged stuff. We'll be back next month and we can talk Gundam, we can talk Riftbound, we can get some good
I was
stuff
gonna say, by the
in.
time we come back, it's gonna be probably, heavy Gundam and new UA, like real UA stuff, and then on the heels of or not the heels of, it should be coming up like between that point is Card Fest in Dallas. So that'll be some fun stuff to talk about too, I think.
Card game summer, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. All right, y'all. Have an awesome rest of your day, morning, evening, or night, wherever you're watching from. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode. Peace.